America is very good at living in the myth of America. You can't train away bias. You can't train away bigotry. He knows that he can step on the line where freedom of speech is, and that the Supreme Court will not slap his hand away.
And those people haven't given Black people reparations. That needs to be addressed. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening. This impacts everybody in the United States.
They cannot stand us to have anything.
And once they have established this as a precedent, they are going up the chain.
It has nothing to do with the American people. It is all about power.
What is up, everybody? This is hilarious. So if you're catching this live, the reason why we were a little delayed, I forgot to turn on live. So we were doing about 7 minutes of this. And I'm going, hold on. I don't see the live button on. And then one of the comments, I saw a comment here. Regina goes, Lotch's comment, come out wherever you are. I'm going, okay. So that's on me, but we are here. All right. So let's get this proper. What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that team in 2022 and 2021, reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. So I think that's hilarious. I love laughing at myself because if I'm not laughing at myself, someone's laughing at me. We are broadcasting live on, I'm going to do it again. I won't do it again. July 22nd. And we're having a good time. So let me bring up, when you have a good team, they cover your blind spots. These ladies, and Aisha wasn't here tonight, they cover my blind spots. And Jill, you're on mute. Yeah.
Take
Jill's
two.
on mute.
Take
Okay,
three.
now we go. This is
That is so funny.
I'm going, okay. And then Regina's message, I go, okay. Now
It's
everybody,
so funny.
now I see everyone.
And we didn't see anything because I was like trying to, post the show and get it out. And so I wasn't even looking at the 7-minute intro that you were doing. And
That's hilarious. So family, I like, if this was 20 years ago, I would have been like sweating and going, oh my gosh. I'm laughing at myself. So I guess I'm in that journey of maturing.
That's progress.
I'm maturing. So before we get down to some things, let's do some things for a second time now. Let's do them. So please, if you're up to it, join the State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa Discord group. Email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And like I said, if you get on it, if you leave for a few hours, you're missing a lot because there's so much content going down there. I mean, and it's an international room. We have Canada, we have US, we have Portugal, we have Australia. So we're continental group, and it's a good place where people like to express themselves and no holds barred. All right. Also, if you're up to it, like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you want to advertise on the platform, please contact me via my email address. And then tomorrow night, program alert. I don't do that too often, but tomorrow night, July 23rd, live at 9 p.m., Dr. Alicia Watkins and Dr. Tachi are going to be talking about the impact of the American Supreme Court ending affirmative action in the American colleges and universities. Dr. Alicia Watkins is the husband. She's not the husband. She's the wife. He's the wife. I'm going, She's the wife of Dr. Boyce Watkins. People may or may not know about him, but Dr. Boyce has over 1 million followers on combined social media platforms. But she has her PhD in social work. She is a tenured professor in a university in the Chicago area. Plus, she's a certified trauma counselor. Plus, she's been counseling Black couples in relationships for over 11, 12 years. And then Dr. Tachi, you've seen her on here or maybe on some other platforms that I host. She has her PhD in mass communications, knows many things about media, etc., but also is a professor in communications. So I thought no better to have two wonderful Black ladies give a lens about affirmative action, how it's now been ended in American colleges and universities. They're at the front line, so they can give a frontline view of the impact of that overturning of that law or that thing. So that's it. Now let's see. Okay, so Regina, thank you for being part of the team. You're officially part of the team now because you covered my tracks. Hello, Jen. Hope everything is good. I'm still laughing about this. And Black Beauty is here.
Hello.
Hello. And we are live. Yes, we are live. We are live officially. So anything you ladies want to chat about in our warm-up today? I did have something that came in my alleged mind that I saw today. I actually saw a video of Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
Oh, I was so happy to see that. And the fact that he even was making jokes, and you could tell that it was very genuine and he was just updating everyone. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, y'all. We don't have to know everything. This man needed to heal. So his family made sure that they protected him very well while he's always been a private man, even with his dating life. So I was, when I saw that this morning, it just made my day.
Okay. And hopefully we haven't lost Jill Jones.
No.
She's back. All right. I'm going, okay, Jill just disappeared. So that's okay.
No, I'm happy for him. I mean, I think it was time, definitely. But it was nice to see him. I was just getting my notes because I think I had some notes of topics that were on my top of mind. And what were they? I think I was really surprised that you can't use the word dead or killed anymore online. You have to use unalive.
What?
And
no, stop.
Somebody deleted you.
No. What?
You'll get your stuff taken down, apparently, especially on TikTok. So you'll hear people.
Rewind.
You just blew his mind.
Where's that coming from?
You have to say unalive.
I was told by a few people because I keep hearing these young people on their videos saying about blah 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 was made unalive, and that so and so he deleted himself, and that means suicide. And they, it's like the Tower of Babel. I mean, there's no wonder people don't understand each other because there's unalive attributes to the fact that somebody was killed, I think, that they were murdered.
It's supposed to be that, you're not triggering people.
Right. But see, a word is a word is a word. And
it is.
That thing like a rose by any other name would be a rose. So the whole thing is that you can change the name, but you'll never change the meaning. If I call you dog breath, and, soon that's what you respond to. I mean, this is like, we have some real psychological issues about not being triggered. It's crazy. It's funny how the word gaslighting has taken on this whole thing.
Yes.
Originally, a gaslighter was a liar. And it was considered disgusting to be a liar, right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
But I think with all these modifications, it's actually softening the blow, and it lets people weasel out of accountability because they go, he's a gaslighter, he's a narcissist, he's still a liar, but
right.
The word doesn't hold as much weight anymore because that doesn't mean anything. So definitions have changed, and that's one thing I wanted to bring up. I thought it was really shocking. Well, it makes sense why people don't understand each other now.
No.
But it's been that way for a little while now, because they say it's a trigger, you know, and you know, some of these platforms will shut you all the way down if you use them. And I'm actually starting to see it a little more on YouTube as well, Dr. Vibe.
Oh, okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see what YouTube does.
Aside from the fact that it's really poor grammar, okay? Just, you know, I couldn't.
Grammar? What's that?
I couldn't handle people saying axing. I had to ax him. I still haven't been able to adjust. But or when we deliberately allow people not to use plural words in our community, it drives me crazy. His I'm not even going to go there because I'm going to make a lot of enemies tonight. So I won't do it.
You don't make enemies.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so a few things interesting. April Watson says that press used dead at Friday for Tony Bennett.
Well, he was 96, and nobody unalived him. I know.
What? Unalived him. Okay.
Unalived.
All right.
It's when somebody deliberately makes somebody unalived. It's wild.
Oh, okay. All right.
Dr. Bob's like, I just can't even wrap my head around it.
Again, you know my line these days for these things. The more I know, the less I understand.
Right.
That's right.
So I leave it at that. Let's say hello to Wig Maniac. Good.
Who
Hey,
actually has a big thing coming up with the wigs like we did last year for advocacy to help support the writers and the actors.
Yeah.
Wig Maniac, I don't know if you'll ever come on live with us, but please share information about that in the Discord group if you can, please, and thank you. Would be much appreciated. Dr. Tachi's in the
that always picks the times when it's hot as here to be getting wigs out. I'm like, I love Wig Maniac though. I gotta get a new wig. I saw one at the.
I do too, John. I have no idea where mine is.
I was thrift
Sorry. I can't relate. I'm sorry. Like I'm the definition of au natural.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But you know, if people who really get to know me well, I may show you a picture too with me having hair.
Oh,
that is few and far between, those pictures. But Dr. Tachi
doesn't have hair, and when people see him with hair, like with yeah, it's really cool.
So Dr. Tachi, I know you came a little late, but looking forward to you and Dr. Aisha being on tomorrow night talking about affirmative action. And also, if you want to come in and join us, just message me here and I'll send you the link. You know, there's always a chair available for you. Also, what do we got? Oh, lots of comments already in the house. Regina says, Jill, you're onto something. Gaslighting, woke, narcissist. The woke thing has become that we got to talk about that soon, the woke thing. But that's a whole other thing. Narcissist, icon are just some of the words that are being overused to the point they become meaningless.
Because white people on our territory. I'm going to be straight up about that. They deliberately, they're like little dogs that come in on your lawn, like the white people, like DeSantis. Not all white people, believe me. That's not my point. I'm saying that crew of the GOP match, they come and on your turf, and that's how they dilute our words and the power of our words. So I say stop talking to them.
Yep.
There you go. All right, let's see. Regina says
they do it on purpose.
Bennett was 2 weeks short of 97. R.I.P. Loved he and Gaga together and Amy Winehouse.
That's why our people spoke our own languages, by the way. That is one reason why with Creole and things like that we kept our things. It's time we go back to our things, you know.
Yeah, because they've been taken from us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They've been taken from us.
Jamaicans, when you go to Jamaica and somebody is talking right in your face about you, and they don't know.
And you have no idea. It just I that's my heritage. I know what's going down, and Like they
So
say.
yeah, I could lighten up on the grammar thing. Maybe if it gets us back to our own language, then maybe I won't mind acts so much.
So I want to shout out Wigmaniac. Thank you. She's put in the Discord group about the wig stuff. So if you're a member of our Discord group, please go in and see if you can support any way possible. Also, Dr. Tachi says they often use that for TikTok to avoid algorithm censorship.
Right.
Okay. And Wigmaniac also says, and that's not just the writers and actors. There are tons of hair and wig stylists out of work too. Also, the impact of that strike is really.
Oh yeah.
I know that the costumers and people are out, and like people from IATSE, the crew, which represents the crew and stuff, they've been out there in support because, you know, nobody's working. The cleaners, everybody. The dry clean people in the local area that, you know, I would take stuff and drop off for, like, because I was doing wardrobe at one point. And so, yeah, a lot of people are affected by this, but rich people don't seem to care. But they're going to care one day. Trust me.
Oh, it's going to catch up to them, just like everything else.
They need us.
Oh, they think that Marie Antoinette, we know what she thought. She kept thinking that. Let them eat cake.
Yeah.
She said, let them eat cake. The essence of what? That other person said, we're going to, who was definitely a higher up executive, about we're going to have them lose their houses. They're going to learn the hard way. Eventually, you can't treat people badly. This is not with Pluto where it's situated at the moment. No, won't be a good thing.
Okay.
I just want I want them to release the information of who said that, though. That's all. I want the leak of who was the executive who said that.
Okay. Also, I'm not going to put on screen Regina's comment because the language is questionable. She says, yes, white people are on woke 100%. Yes. Heard a number of stories this week in the media about, you know, how woke is, and just talking about the originality of woke when it came in. It sort of came back into prominence through a lady we spoke about last week, India Irie, had it in one of her songs many years ago, and it came back to prominence.
It was before her, though. It was a song that was back even pre-Jim Crow.
Oh yeah, lead belly. Yes, that's where it came back to.
And it was very common in my Black household growing up to say woke. Very common.
Okay.
You know.
Regina says that Fran Dressler said she could not believe how badly the talks are going.
Right.
Oh, hold on. There we go. Going. Yeah, this software's a little glitchy the last few weeks. So are going. And then also part of the Discord group family, Cinema Canella says, hi, greetings. All right. Anything else you want to catch with in the warm-up that we
I think that when these executives can't justify their staff, because, you know, they write stuff off through padded accounts, and they take a little bit of the money from a lot of these productions. And when they start having to pay out of pocket for their own security and their own X, Y, and Z, they're going to want to start settling too, because their security people will be like, bye, see you later, because they all pad it. They all find ways. They're drivers, they're this, they'll charge to the production that they're going to see, or the this or the that, making their way to dinner. Yeah.
Less write-offs.
Yes.
Less write-offs.
Because rich people like that are usually, they have a lot of money, and you go, why would they about it? Because they're stingy. They're usually stingy, and stingy pays twice.
I was waiting to hear that. Yeah, I know you said that in the past. So that's one of your.
It's like a broken record with me. Stingy pays twice. Do it right the first time.
Well, it proves true every time. It rings true every time.
True.
All right. Well, the warm-up is done. The appetizer. Let's start getting to the main course. First serve.
I do have one really quickie. I have one quickie. That weird.
No problem. Now, when you say quickie, we gotta be careful.
Jim Caviezel, the one who played Jesus in the Passion of Christ, the
Mel Gibson movie. The Mel Gibson movie.
So Freak Boy has decided to come out and talk. He does MAGA speeches now because he can't really work. So there's a guy, Chris Evans, I believe, on Twitter, who keeps releasing information about all the things that the crew and other actors have said about what it's like working with him, that he didn't know the difference between reality and fiction. He's a big Trump supporter. He's so tight in his head, wound, that at times, if it's a car chase, he actually, normally it's like, it's a car chase. You do your scene where it looks like you take off, then they cut it, and then the stunt person comes in. Not him. He decided to gun it in New York when he was doing Person of Interest and nearly ran over 4 people and killed them. Then they ran to him and they said, "Hey, why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Because it's what my character would have done." And then another story came out that then his character was supposed to go and save 2 gay people, right? And he was like, "No, my character would not support that." And they had to tell him to pretend that he was in 9/11 and he would have to be like the fireman or the police who made no difference about who they ran in to save. This guy is Fruit Loops, right? Total Fruit Loops mess. Soup sandwich, guys. He's at soup sandwich level. So he has this video out and he's talking about God's coming back, and Jesus is like the rudder on the ship. Jesus is a rudder, y'all. He's just a guide, basically. That's what a rudder is. But God needed an army. And I'm like, wait a minute. So these actually believe that God needs their help to fight. If they're going to read their Bible, right? Their Bible is saying, these are end times, Armageddon, Great Tribulation, all this stuff. They think they're going to change the outcome. You're not. Just any Christians listening, you're not. If you read your own Bible, you will find you're not. In fact, there's a scripture where that God was directing to you, be rejoiceful that these things are going on, because it means the end is near and I'm coming soon. And hey, be in the world, but not of it. There were some really important guidelines, but he's sitting up there telling all these MAGA freakzoids that they should get an army together and they're going to help God fight Satan. Now, if they read their book, they'll know that, okay, he's supposed to do that. But hey, guess what? Even after all of that, there's another 1,000 years that comes back around, and y'all got to let other people who get resurrected deal with that. And maybe this is the problem. They don't read their Bibles. They're crazy. They think they are promoting and exploiting and actually profiting off of these really stupid concepts that are so not in any Christian Bible. Bible does not say that. It talks about Armageddon. End of story. It doesn't matter if you're planning a wedding on the day after Armageddon. There's nothing you could do to stop it according to your book. It's in stone. It's already been written. One other thing it does talk about too is that there's people who are supposed to be in a book of life. And actually, I started thinking maybe these people are the ones that aren't in the book of life. Like maybe that's why they're acting out, because it sure feels like, they're inhabited by something very ominous. But that's my thing on Jim Caviezel. He's just a grifter and he's a bad actor, guys. He's bad. And he thinks he's really Jesus, they say.
I just put two and two together.
That was Jill's quickie, family.
Yes,
that was Jill's quickie.
That was a quickie. Because you all know how I feel about religion, but I am going to say I've read this book, and these people have created a heaven. Like it's got Main Street and it's got like sundown towns and everything up there too. So it's bizarre to me, really crazy.
LaLa, anything you want to add before we get to the main suit?
I just now put together who he was. And I seen the video, but I didn't realize until Jill said who he was that I'm like, you got to be kidding. Like, so that I just got bowled over my own self because I just didn't see him. I saw him, but
good looking and crazy. A good looking, stunning face. It's very wonderful eyes, but those eyes are crazy, are loopy. I can't use the word. I'm sure they got a new word for cray cray. Loopy. Loopy, what, you know, like there's nobody home. It's like you go, hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
I could probably say Merrick Garland, Merrick Garland, Merrick Garland, Donald
You haven't said
Trump,
his-
Trump.
You haven't said Merrick in a while, so I don't know what's wrong. Is it a divorce?
I don't know, Merrick and
Okay, let's get to our main we're real deep in. It's gonna be a long conversation, but let's see where we started off. Number one, let's go to it. Hunter Biden's attorney files ethics complaints against Marjorie Taylor Greene for showing sexual images. I didn't know anything about this unless it was the Discord people. What is going on now with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Please explain it to me.
Pazzo, as they say in Italian, pazzo.
What did she do now?
She's an idiot. She took sexual pictures of Hunter Biden and held him up. I'm talking all the way sexual, okay? Like, no warning. Even the movie say sexual nudity. No, girlfriend was like, look at this. And I mean, it's just, it was absolutely horrifying. This is crazy. She needs to be put in a loony house. I don't care what nobody tells you. She doesn't have a sense of her own body. Now, she may either be too smart or too dumb. You've got to get her up out of there. You've got to get her up out of there. I can't. She makes me absolutely crazy. She makes me say bad words. I just cannot with this ever. She just is relentless in everything that she does, and she just goes off the deep end crazy, and she needs to be stopped.
It's so funny because this crazy thing that's going on about the laptop, which is very interesting, is all this past week, we've been having Congress in their hearings where they have been calling whistleblowers, addressing all these whistleblowers about this laptop and whatever. And Dan Goldman, who used to be the senior White House counsel, I guess you would remember him from the Mueller investigation and all of that. But Dan is now a representative in New York, and Representative Goldman, and you guys know I love him. I think he's sharp. He's sharp. He don't miss a lick, and boy can look tired, but he will go, and he's, the ever ready battery. But what he did was they had there was an article that came out first about that laptop. And I believe, I don't know what the magazine was, but they got a regular old staffer who was a nobody, and they had her write it with another gentleman. But as this suddenly this wonderful information about a hard drive, she never received a laptop, guys. She received a hard drive, this sort of weird hard drive. And Dan Goldman said, you got the hard drive. And then they put this other very experienced journalist on the article with her. And then he removed his name before it was published. So in a way, was he guiding it a little, guiding the process, I feel, and then took his name out because she could be the fall guy. Well, stupid sat there while Dan Goldman is asking her, you received a hard drive? Did you have anybody forensically check this? No, just the regular IT people. She looked like a real mofo, real tard sitting there. Okay.
Oh,
so it was so bad that, because Giuliani, what they did learn from even our congressional oversight on some of this laptop stuff was that there was, what's that filter stuff that they use? The deep fakes, they had an experiment that are on the laptop to differentiate, right? The laptop sort of got cobbled and piggledy-wiggledy, together. It was higgledy-piggledy when they got it. So now they're using it because this is what the Republican Party does. They take stuff, it's got a Band-Aid on it. And then in another picture, it gets weaker and weaker and fainter,
right.
and fainter. And they're photoshopping. So everything is higgledy-piggledy. So when they ask her about this thing, she's like, yeah, well, I had the hard drive, and then bloop-de-bloop. Nobody of any level went to, this is how her brain worked about being an expert at what she does. She's no Aaron Brockovich. That's what I can say. So anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene decided, after she went out on a limb the other day and was praising Joe Biden so much and saying he was continuing FDR's legacy and continuing LBJ's legacy and the New Deal and all this stuff, it's like she just learned history the day before. I don't know. And for her, that wasn't good enough. What FDR wants to do, she has a problem with.
Yeah.
Like, the basis, the foundation of our country, we got through after World War II. Like, this is like upset that FDR had Medicare, that there was, what else was it? Like everything.
It doesn't matter. It was not the list. Everything about him. She was mad about
that her pappy built his little construction company on. If you go look at his loans and how he got, because she's from local money town and where she's from, because her family was construction. Her husband clearly married her for her connections, I'm sure, but in that town. But how things change as you get out. But once you put somebody else's child on the burner, I really believe, what a short-sighted mother, because all she's done now is opened up all of her adult children to some mad scrutiny. And she better not even think that it won't go past, because her kids are not little. They should go and knock her in her mouth, because she is what she did with the photos of Hunter Biden, which we don't even know if they're completely real. They could be Rudy Giuliani. You know, I need to look at that to be able to tell you guys, what is that?
and I'm not going to be the one to sit there and try to figure it out.
No, but dude looks like he has to put a anyway. But he does. Must be for real. So that's the biggest problem of all with this. And also the other thing is, she also sent out links.
Yes.
Which included all these graphic pictures. And that has something to do with when you're sending pornography through.
She's broken the laws.
Because young people have access to it. They need to get rid of that.
Yeah, exactly. Exact words out of Jill's mouth. What's the new word that we learned in the Discord? That's what I like.
She's
I can't stand her. And Bobblehead got to go too. But right now we need
Bobblehead
to
is like crazy. With Junior, right?
Yeah,
that's the rule.
Is. Y'all, we got a bunch of clowns. All we missing is the freaking clown makeup that goes on up there. They don't care about any of us.
Some people have been sharing pictures of Marjorie that are highly, highly edited and highly filtered. And they need to go back to the ones where it's not, because they're trying to make her look better.
Yes.
And there's just no way, you know, and I saw it on Occupy Democrats had a picture the other day next to Hunter Biden. And I'm sorry, it was like, guys, if you're going to post pictures of these people, make sure you find the worst possible picture ever, because that's what the Republicans do. You know, first of all, Hunter Biden is a private citizen.
Yes, he
is.
They
said Ivanka and her cherry man, Jared are. So my whole thing is, if they go for one, they're going to have to go for them all, because that's.
And I think that they should.
Right, and they need to investigate them. But I think people are afraid, because the last people that tried to investigate or even say anything about them, those guys ran straight to the guy in Saudi Arabia, and look what happens to them. So maybe that's why our Department of Justice doesn't want to jump into it. Maybe they're afraid.
They're going to have to at some point, though, because you can't just let this run rampant like this. She is a security risk, period. She is a complete security risk. She ain't no better than Trump. She's right up there, if not even more unhinged than he is, because she's just wacko. But, you know, the things that she's doing, you're arresting regular, I don't mean regular folks because they're still predators or whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? They're arresting the lower folk for the exact same thing that she's doing, and you're letting her do it on this level of security and on these committees? I don't think so. Gotta go.
I know. It's awful.
Okay, I think that we've.
She has
exhausted-
access to too many people's private information, and she's proven herself to be unworthy and unprofessional. She can't handle that. And for me, that's a big, that to me is like, there are things that I know about some Republicans that I go, okay, well, they wouldn't be crazy enough to release this X, Y, and Z, but they are tipping over the line where they are soon going to have many people who are going to be like Marjorie Taylor, and they have an ethics committee themselves that they want the Supreme Court to have. They need to enforce it. She needs to be freaking removed from all committees and having access to any, because now it sounds like she's the Gestapo. Like if you see something that Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't like, she's going to find something on you and exploit you. That's what she basically did. And she abused her power to do it. And that's the funny thing about, she was, because the Biden team, because she went off about, the new, FDR and everything. And those were good things and the campaign of Biden's made it a whole big ad. And, it was a very positive, like, thanks, Marjorie. Thanks for the endorsement. And she didn't like it. So what she's also proven to be is that she's incapable of being a professional, and she's highly emotional. I mean, she showed her on this, because it's kind of like, okay,
really did.
Like, you are still that ugly little girl from the 80s with that bad haircut and those bad teeth. And that's who you still think.
Them ugly toes.
All right. We're going to move on. We're going to move on.
Sir, can you sit down, sir? Marjorie.
Okay. Dr. Dachi says they talk about TikTok being a security risk. She says, I'll take $200, TikTok for $200, Alex.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Oh my goodness. And getting back, Dr. Tachi, about your comments earlier on in our warm-up about Christianity, Jill. Dr. Tachi goes, and it should say God doesn't need help from the wicked. Right. She says, and also Scott Greaves. I don't know if we've had you on before, Scott, but thanks for coming on. They conflate the New Testament with the Old Testament Hebrew scriptural oracles, which calls for an army of the sons of light versus the sons of darkness.
Right. If they would just get out of it and understand that Jesus was the breach, the bridge between the new covenant and the old, then we could move on. But what is very disturbing is how resistant they are. Like, these are the people who have clearly not accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Because if they did, none of this would be coming out of their mouths. And to be honest with you, none of them would actually be involved in politics.
No.
They'd be sitting back just kicking it and waiting, because a true Christian knows how it's going to play out. You don't try to interject yourself into prophecy. They all think they're King David. And they think they're Bathsheba.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've exhausted that topic immensely, and we've only got one topic in, family. We'll see how long this one's going to last tonight. Next, just so in that live, we're just going to take a quick break. As always, join the State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa Discord group. I know LaLa's been posting in there while she's multi-purposing, and also I know Cinnamon Canella put something in there while we're having this live conversation.
That's what y'all in there. I'm like,
Jill, I'm gonna look. But when we go finish tonight, Jill, I'm gonna straighten you out.
I walk in and y'all got
no. We're gonna straighten you out, Jill. We're gonna straighten you out. No problem. Like the Dr. Vibe show.
See your birthday post I did.
I feel like I walked in on the stock market floor during trading time.
I'm gonna send you the links that you need to go to, Jill. Relax. Like the Dr. Vibe show on Facebook and LinkedIn. And again, promo for tomorrow night, July 23rd. One of the participants is in the conversation in the chat room and YouTube right now. Dr. Tachi and Dr. Alicia Watkins talking about the impact of the American Supreme Court ending affirmative action in American colleges and universities. You'll be able to watch that live wherever you're watching, this live. Let's move on to our next conversation piece. And this one, the mysterious disappearance of Carlee Russell. Now, it's interesting. When we finished last week, I first started to pick up on this.
We talked about it briefly.
We were concerned.
Yeah.
We were concerned.
And so right now we're doing a little bit of a broadcast on Instagram Live. It's State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa. We're talking a little bit about the mysterious disappearance of Carlee Russell. What do you ladies have to say about it?
First, I need to say I'm sorry, Jill, because I did not want to believe you. And in my heart of hearts, I was like, no, Jill, no, she was taken, Jill, no. Jill was like, something ain't right, something ain't right. And I just could not believe it. I didn't want to believe it, that someone would be so selfish and stupid to do what she did. Now, I'm feeling sorry for the parents, but I've heard that today they have search warrants to take the parents' phones as well.
Wow.
There's so much. Yeah, there's so much to this. It's not funny. And I have to give kudos to the sheriff's department, guys. I really do. This dude who's handling it down there has been nothing but respectful. And he's actually said, now I can't cover that right now. He actually went to the parents first and said, I'm going to have to announce this stuff, y'all, because you've got people out here thinking that there's some child and some maniac running on the loose, and we don't really have proof of that. And I just loved how he handled getting the information out. I appreciated how he did because it was respectful, but he also let us know, hey, this ain't over. This ain't over. There's more to this than a soap opera drama on repeat. And it all looks like it's over a man. Okay, duh. It's the man who's the problem. If you mad at a woman because a man is not watching you, why you mad at him? Why at her? This is a nightmare. A complete nightmare. And yes, she did too set us back many, many years, because no one believes when a Black woman comes up and says they need help or is missing. It is a known fact that everybody's like, now we all take care of the same people. No, you don't. No, you don't. If they look like John Benet Ramsey, then they get all the attention in the world. But our people now are not going to get the attention that they need the next time around, which is true.
Okay, just before Jill has anything adding on to say this, just want to shout out on Instagram, elementalnotes.ca, MC, Fly, the Chef Guy, and the Toyab Agency. We're letting you in on a bit of State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa. Alisa, Jill, and LaLa. Sugary _ brown girl. What's up? And we're LaLa and Jill are talking about the mysterious disappearance of Carlee Russell. Jill, anything you want to add?
It ain't that mysterious.
Okay.
For me, when it really took a turn was how it was just so weird that we're looking at this, how long she drove down the freeway. If you saw a toddler, it was like she cruised like another quarter of a mile in her car with the brake lights. And it was like, for me, if you see a toddler or even a cat, I've literally jumped out of my car, no matter. I mean, it's crazy how my brain is. I've stopped, immediately. I stopped in the middle of the street once when a June bug flew in my car and almost, I jumped right out on the other. The police were right behind me and they were like, what is going on with you? I said, it's a June bug in my car. Just lucky they didn't shoot me. Yeah, and my little Volvo, that was really funny. That wasn't long. That was about 10 years ago. But for me, it just kind of reminded me of D.C. Stevenson. He was the Grand Dragon, I think, in the 1920s or something. And the only person I'd ever really, it flashed into my head, somebody who just showed back up in front of their house was Madge Oberholzer, was the woman he had abducted and kidnapped and put on a train. He was running for president in this time, and it was a Black Pullman porter who actually could substantiate that he was terrorizing this woman and raping her. So it isn't just always that they never want to believe Black women. That's definitely high, but they don't, at this point, they don't want to believe women at all about happening to them. So Madge Oberholzer was being carted across the country, all because she refused dating him. So he abducted her, and she went into a pharmacy and was trying to get someone's information, whatever. She stole a bottle of mercury and she drank it, and she died from this. So her deathbed confession was very important to convicting him, as well as the Black Pullman porter. So knowing that flashed into my head about this poor woman, and thinking that the justice, how hard it is just to even have justice for even, unfortunately, white women, but Black women even higher on the totem pole, all women. I mean, we're really at a loss here. And for her, I just kept saying the whole time, she's with our community and I don't like it. And I don't think this is real. There was just something that was really off about it. And even her parents. And then the boy who pretended he was her brother, and he wasn't. And they raised $60,000. We were all giving money. I mean, they've since reimbursed everybody, but so they say. But really,
no. And the poor lady who was leading the fight
lost her child,
who truly had lost her child, and stepped in out of the kindness of her heart.
She did.
And then she went through trauma trying to help them. It's inexcusable. She needs to be charged, and she needs to serve time.
Harris.
Okay, so this has become a very hot button topic, because I've got I've got conversation top like responses here. elementornotes.ca on Instagram going, Black and Indigenous women have been going missing for a very long time. This is the first I'm hearing about this young woman. My prayers go out to the family. We have also on the live show here on the platform, Jen says, I'm going to post what I put on Discord earlier in response to Aisha's comment, all about a man. Well, D, we were also glad her original story immediately made the national news. We all know that doesn't typically happen unless a woman looks like Malibu Barbie. And what upsets me the most about the whole thing is now the news outlets are going to be hesitant to run a story when a woman is really in trouble, particularly when it's a woman of color, and precious time will be lost. Black Beauty, okay, says Carlee Russell, SMA, shake my head. What an embarrassment. All the drama she created. I agree with Jill and LaLa on this 100%. What she did was horrible, to say the least. Dr. Tachi says one of the issues here is that she's a Gen Z. As much as she may not have the realization of gravity of her actions, I don't think she expected it to garner this much attention. Now, I have now I have a request. Someone wants to come on an Instagram to talk about this conversation topic. Okay. So this is a first we haven't had. So this is one of the reasons I don't. Okay, now the request, she's turned it. Okay, it's back on. Okay, so you got to come on for a few moments because lots going on. So let's see if she's going to come on. I've accepted the invitation, and it seems that it's not. But you two can continue on sharing. Hold on. Yeah, you two can continue on sharing, because for some reason
I don't know about her being Gen Z. I think she just wasn't raised right. It's just that comes down to your kid is missing a sensitivity chip. There's something wrong with your young child that would do something like that. It doesn't take much. I think they know very well that they're going to be famous, or not even that. People want infamy more than fame these days. And that's actually quite frightening, because people don't want to put the work into what people used to be rewarded with being famous for an actual talent. This is somebody who probably has, student loans and relatively whatever, but she just thought she deserved something else. And since her man laid himself out, she gutted him like a fish emotionally, because he's deleted her, gotten rid of her, like on his pages and everything. So,
well, her boyfriend recently just came out, ex-boyfriend or whatever he is now, and is telling people to be kind because you need to take into account her mental state. I'm sorry, I'm not going for that. I'm just not. She planned this. She knew what she was doing, and she executed it well. And then on top of that, now the people who she was working for are receiving all sorts of threats, and people are boycotting them like they're the ones who did something.
I know.
They have let her go. Now that's twisted. Y'all need to leave people who are not involved in it out of it. These people are innocent. Her employers are just as shocked and upset. The employees are very upset. Yeah. So, you got to be careful about who you're boycotting. if you're gonna boycott somebody, do it for the right reason.
Girl, they can't even figure out what word to use. So
I know.
that they're going to figure out who to boycott. I mean, it's so sad, because the interesting thing is that she really should be in jail by now. In my opinion, I personally find it, but they're all tiptoeing, but she should be arrested. It's just very simple. We had to go through these crazy things with these watches over like murderers and running through the boy who took his girl on the trip. I mean, it's just too much for me. And I'm not going to get into the race about, a black woman has so much hard, difficult times or whatever, or a white woman. Women in general are being abducted and harmed. And if we all I'm not keeping score of their color. And yes, it's important that we get the word out for our people. But it is a little bit interesting how it rose to the top. I don't know if these were paid ads or how it really got around about her. And that's actually something that is baffling to me.
Okay,
I get Amber Alerts all the time,
on Instagram Live, sugary_brown girl. I'm trying to invite you in. And for some reason it says you can't come in, or you're unable to come in. So I'm sorry.
She might have a suspension on her, because I have one on me. I can't go on people's lives because I did something outside of the community guidelines, and I have to wait until the end of August or the beginning of some other time. I don't know. I may never be back.
So Jill, are you happy now that we have Discord? I'm going to walk you through it, but thank goodness you have that. Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else? Anyone want to add in regards to this? Sorry, sugary_brown girl. I don't know why I keep on accepting and it's not happening. So I don't know why it's not happening. Sorry. But I think one other thing I pulled an article I wanted to show.
She's making our people, by the way, a lot of money. There are some people that have come up with some incredible memes. It's just what we do in light of bad situations. We do tend to have humor and find a way. And, that's the crazy thing about being online nowadays. You do something and they immediately, boom, it's content creation time. I don't know. She wanted the attention and she got it.
She got it. And it's unfortunate. Like, so here's an article here. Now, I guess it's one of hope. Keep the same energy from finding Carlee Russell for these other black, and there's other black Muslim women out there.
But they painted this one. No. Let's be honest how they painted this one. She went to college. She's USA, HGB, whatever the blah, 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 and bloop-de-bloop. That is something that all black people need to ask themselves. Why'd y'all react that way for this one? She went to college. She's working her way. She's a nurse. She's a this. I mean, my God, that's something that we leveled up and did a crossover on that. You know, understand? It's like, this is like when we had black records and they had to go up the chart in order to cross over to the white folks. Black folks made her cross over. Why? Why don't they let the other ones cross over?
Okay. Now it looks like I'm going to get somebody on live here on Instagram. Dr. Tachi?
Yes.
Dr. Tachi is with us.
Okay. I was halfway testing to make sure that you could get someone online.
Yeah.
But hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello. Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm good, and I would have loved to join you on YouTube. However, Dr. Vibe knows I have no air condition, and so I can't turn on lights or anything because that will just make it hot. So you won't be able to anyway. Yeah, this whole thing, the reason I brought up about Gen Z and that thing, not that all of Gen Z has this issue, and you're absolutely right, Jill, that this is a result of somewhere a bad upbringing somehow. But I think there's also the thing with Gen Zers that there is because of the social media age, etc., there is a lack of understanding of the gravity of situations of when you do things, because a lot of them are the me generation, right? So it's me and gratifying me first, no matter what that means, which means I'm not using critical thinking skills to know, okay, if I do this, this could get bigger than what I intended to, and it will affect me for the rest of my life. Whereas, and I'm not saying that everybody in other generations does that, but I know for Gen Xers, if you weren't taught about what your actions were going to do, right, I don't know who was. So those are things that many of us thought about before we acted, because it was ingrained in us. If you do this, X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. I mean, all you have to do is look at the drug commercials. This is your brain on drugs, right? And so that's a small, light example of that. But we were taught about the gravity of your actions affecting the rest of your life. And for a lot of Gen Zers, and I understand where that comes from, because you don't want children to suffer some of the things that you went through. So you try to make the life a little bit easier for them. But as a result, for some of them, they take life easy and they don't think about the gravity, as I said, of their actions. So that's why I brought up her being a Gen Z. And I don't think she intended for it to garner this much attention at all.
But there's another girl who's a white girl. She's going to jail for 18 months. I think that this one, for doing the same thing, I think that this one should too. I think across the board.
I agree.
Absolutely, because there's also the thing of now it is public concern because you've wasted public resources as well. Everybody who had to go out and look for her, these are public servants, public paid people, and that's also tax dollars. And I hate to boil it down to that, but that's what it boils down to. So now you have wasted significant public resources because of your escapades and shenanigans. Yes, something needs to happen. And I don't care about your mental state.
I think she's a spoiled little brat. She drives a Mercedes. She's 25 years old, right? Am I wrong if she's not driving a Mercedes? She's a spoiled brat. And she just it's like the Black Clueless. Like she just doesn't know anything in a really weird way. I think
she's lawyered up. She's already lawyered up.
She had a really nice wigs on. I mean, she's somebody spending money on her, and she can't be making that much money at a spa, which shows you a very interesting thing. Like, why is she working at a spa when her other I mean, I don't understand what her thing is, but the nails, the eyelashes, all of it, it says a lot to me. Just her overly self-absorbed, lack of self-awareness. And she needs some time to think about that.
All right. Anything else you want to add, LaLa? And Dr. Tachi, if you can, I'd like you to stay on at least for one more. The next segment certainly involves your state we want to talk about.
Oh, yay.
Anything else you want to add, LaLa?
No, I'm angry over the whole thing. And
terrible.
You have to, some things you have to kind of get over yourself, but this one is tough because this really and truly damages our community as a whole, period.
Okay.
It's because the poorer Black girls aren't getting the attention as the middle-class Black girl in a really weird way too. There are girls who are from like some of the darkest places in the, really mean, like egregious, dangerous places, and they're on their own or they were fosters, and we don't do anything. And like I said, we don't get them up to cross over to the white charts. They don't even make the Black charts.
Okay. Next thing, and I'm glad to have Dr. Tachi stay on for this segment. Next segment here on State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa. And we have an honorary member, Dr. Tachi, on Instagram Live. So we're going to keep it going here. New Florida teaching standards say African Americans receive some personal benefit from slavery. And the reason why I'm keeping Dr. Tachi on is because she's a resident. Let
her talk. This is crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
The floor is yours, Dr. Tachi.
So,
She said so.
I'm going to speak about on this from allegory and not necessarily a personal insight on the topic per se, because I haven't. Okay, look. This state, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. There are some good things about the state of Florida, and then there are an awful lot of people who are asleep behind the wheel. Or is the word now unwoke? So I don't hurt algorithms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that it is deplorable and absolutely disgusting that they refuse to teach what is right and factual. And here's the thing. These types of things fly because of the fear amongst teachers. So even though there are a slew of teachers that are like, no, this is not right, there are not going to be a lot that will stand up for teaching the right thing or say, well, then I'll just quit. Because what's the alternative for them, right? I don't know if they see an alternative. And so I think there is this fear because, you'll see in the news media an awful lot of people, well, we don't agree with it. And it feels like my hands are tied. Well, really, your hands are not tied. Quit and fight and be the resistance. But
that's right.
That is not your speak. But see, a lot of them don't see that. And I've noticed that about the state of Florida in general. There are people who will fight, but there are an awful lot who won't. This is not a very educated place.
It's across the U.S. I feel. I think that America keeps people in constant trick bags.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The trick bag to live check to check. So you're afraid to jeopardize what you have sitting on your hill or your property. It's a very American thing. It was like you didn't see when Little House on the Prairie, John Ingalls and them risking it all for John Ingalls would, but other people didn't.
Absolutely, because I'm sorry, but people are sheeple.
Yes, that's what they call. That's what I call them.
In fairness, it takes a lot. One person or even 10 people or even 100 people are not going to make a significant change. So even if there are 100 teachers, 100 parents that say, no, we're not for this, it takes a lot more when you have serious forces of evil in power in your state. So this is rampant across the board in the U.S. Absolutely.
It's like the Nazis. It's organized the same hierarchy, and I know people are tired of even that word has become diluted. The whole thing of when you have an org chart, it's the org chart is very similar to the Third Reich in a sense, because the way they set up the agencies and everything around the surrounding agencies, it keeps that fear wherever that level of the hierarchy is coming down. So at each podium of your org chart, essentially, there is a very authoritarian position that will you from getting all the way through to the top, which is why someone like DeSantis is suing or investigating Bud Light and going for it. He is destroying anything he can. And let me tell you guys something. He is using the same machinations that were used in the German strategy. It's very clear, and anybody who studied history would seize it. But the thing is, I don't know, what do you do?
I'm sure Mike Pence is right beside his bed on his nightstand. I'm sure, because absolutely. I think also, I guess, just kind of finally in closing for that, I think that it is going to take, the only thing that is going to work is grassroots. All that works here is going to be a hit to the pockets. And it has to be enough of a hit to the pockets for that to work. So it's kind of related, the whole thing he has against Disney, the whole onslaught against Disney. It's not hitting him now, but I'm like, do you realize how many people Disney employs in Orlando? If they left.
But he's going to benefit from that only because of the strike going on, and people hate Disney at the moment because of whatever. So on one hand, we have, this is not good. It's not a good look. Disney is in between somewhere here, and we are too. We don't want to go against Disney, but for the writers and the actors, yes. For DeSantis, no. So we're in a really, that's another trick bag. And DeSantis knows how to exploit the trick bags.
But that's the thing, though. Here's the problem with this grassroots thing. We know that the grassroots thing can be very powerful, but you're talking about people in Florida, majority of the people who are thinking just like them, like him. This is why this is a problem, because what he's doing is what the people want. And unless you have more people who want to fight back, then you don't have a battle in this.
You know, so here's the thing. I think with the state of Florida, that it's a case of the ones making the most wahala and ruckus are the loudest voices. I don't necessarily think it's the majority, but this is what I do think. Florida for a long time has been a retiree state. This is not a state with a whole lot of quote unquote young people. And so when you come here to retire, are you trying to fight battles? No. So I think that's part of what it is as well. The fact that you've already fought your battles in New York and Boston or whatever, you're here to retire and you're not trying to get involved. And so when you think about South Florida, it's a very different case, right? South Florida is a very different case. So even if there are people that don't agree with DeSantis or Satan, I think that there's not an impetus to do something, especially if you don't have children in the public school system, especially if you come here to retire. So I think that's part of it as well.
Okay. Where I was, Dr. Tachi, I did visit Miami. I did all that. I was on the side with, St. Petersburg and all that. But where I was when we were dealing with my father-in-law being ill in Melbourne, which is, only an hour south of Orlando, all I saw was support. And I mean, hardcore, we're standing on the side of the road with big flags saying Biden, but we love Jesus. And I'm not exaggerating. That's mostly what I saw. And that is quite frightening. You see people running around talking about thank you, DeSantis, with their T-shirts and stuff. It makes you feel hopeless. And I personally, as an agent selling houses, was literally doing myself in by telling people don't come here.
Because the reality is that I will never call any of our stuff. I don't believe that any of this is grassroots anymore. It is Madison Avenue advertising, and it's dark money PACs that are involved. This is disguising themselves as grassroots. That doesn't exist anymore. The rich people have already gone in and gutted what they can, and now they're just maneuvering. I mean, that's Ginny, whatever, married to Uncle Ruckus in the Supreme Court. Look at this. We're acting as if they've just started out on the journey. They're actually 3/4 of the way where they want to be.
Exactly.
So, this is for us to even believe that, and the people who are, like Dr. Tachi said, they don't want to fight. They don't want to do that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're not going to. But now all those questions, whenever people would always go, I wonder how German people could never do anything. Really? You know what it is? It's not about German, French, Thai, Vietnamese. It's not. It's actually human nature to not stand out when you know your country's about to go authoritarian, because you don't want to be rounded up. People get rounded up. They are not. DeSantis is going for whatever he wants. And if the DOJ, the slow as molasses all across, do not start addressing crimes when they're being done, we will be sitting here like we are. With Donald Trump.
It's the same way that MGT is in Congress.
I'm going to move the conversation on, Dr. Tachi. I don't want to keep you any longer. because I know you're launching a network. Plus, you're on tomorrow night on the Dr. Vibe Show with Dr. Alicia Watkins.
But I'm enjoying myself.
Okay, well then I'm gonna so you can stay on if you want. Then all right. So comments, no problem. Comments on from YouTube here. OMG, Black Beauty, OMG, benefit. Let's see. They stripped us of our culture, language, and right to be proud, intelligent people we are. They force our people to be subjected to breeding farms and rape. Regina says, I'm waiting for DeSantis to get caught up in the wacko sex scandal.
I don't think he has sex. I just don't.
Oh, gosh. All right. Black Beauty says, how insulting, and any Black person would even consider voting for DeSantis should be imprisoned. Okay. Also, Regina says, DeSantis, sorry. Cinnamon Canela goes, medical spa. Most likely, Jill, they have LIC nurses to inject Botox and whatnot.
And of course, we all want Carlee Russell, the same girl of 2023, to give us all Botox, right?
Okay, I'm moving on. And anyone else want to talk about Florida before we move onward? And Dr. Tachi, you can hang out as long as you want.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that because this is my Saturday night, hanging out with you guys.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I love it.
All right, next conversation topic. And Jill, you brought this to the attention this afternoon. Italy begins removing gay mothers from children's birth certificates.
Yes.
What?
They did.
Talk about that.
They are going to remove same-sex parents from the birth certificates because they just have a ruling that unless you have a vagina, you are not a woman. Which I have had this conversation, and I get what both sides are saying in all of this, and I get it. But you are not going to go into the Vatican area, and they're lucky that it was allowed on. But once they started going fascist again, what can you do? They knew this was going to happen, and DeSantis will follow this too.
Exactly.
Because people are very angry at the LGBTQ. I gotta tell you, I don't know what to say. It's like people are like they seem to be like somebody took away their favorite toy, or they're angry. And it's so weird. It's beyond their religion. They think they've gotten perks, or they're just jealous of the fact that they have such a great organization that really made such amazing strides. But to make everybody so covetous of this group of people is shocking to me. And it's a global thing.
Yes.
I can't believe that people don't search their hearts or search themselves and they think this is okay. As I told you all, my birth certificate back in the day had illegitimate written on it. So I'm just telling you what the damage that you do to children when you project your, is disgusting to me. It's just disgusting. And I'll be hard pressed to find anybody in Ohio who wants to admit whose bright idea was it back in 1962 to put that down. Oh, right. Because you crackers didn't even want white and Black people to be married. And still had your issues in little localized cities and towns. Yeah, they don't put that on there now when you ask for the long form again. No, but I remember. And that's what these kids all across the world, when you do that, it's absolutely heinous and backwards. And if there is a God, I hope he throws them all in a lake of fire. These people are wrong. They have no right to judge people like this.
No, not at all.
It's a piece of paper, put their names on it. That's their parents. Or do you want to go and let them be molested by your popes and priests?
There you go.
Okay, hold on. Dr. Tachi.
Straight up. The Catholic Church has done nothing about that. And the fact that it's so twisted that everybody is, I don't know.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Well, I just wanted clarification. So they're removing gay mothers from children's birth certificates, or is it that, for example, the mother, comes out as gay after, or is it they're talking about same sex?
Two moms can't be on the birth certificate. Two parents can't be on.
Okay, so if it is two women household,
Yes.
Only the one on birth can be on the birth certificate.
Yeah, that throws court things, if there's divorces, all sorts of stuff. It's really wrong. There's no protections. It just
at the expense of the children.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Oh, well, my question is, who cared? You know, when I see things like this, I'm like, do you know how many other problems there are in the world beyond this? And of course, it's just heinous, but there are more problems in the world beyond this, and this is what you choose to focus on. To me,
but that's the interesting thing. Don't you think that's interesting? Because for me, the fact that they choose to focus on going through women to make it hurt, to change the face of our world, it's sort of like doing an angioplasty through the arm or through the leg. So which one is going to get you the direct results quickest? The one through the leg. And which one, you know, so for me, they know something about what they're dismantling and the way the chips fall, which is why they're doing the way they're doing this. This is like they're hitting the building in the middle, which is very interesting. That doesn't mean that there's not other important things going on, but they are gutting women.
Mm-hmm.
They are as if they're cutting out our uteruses and laying them on the floor because they are taking us out of the game. And it's wild.
Anyone else want to add on that conversation topic? LaLa?
No, I just think it's disgusting. You're playing with people's lives. And who are you to do so? You don't get the opportunity to judge someone just because they don't agree or their lifestyle is not with you. If you are not hurting someone, okay, now there is a distinction. If you are not actually physically hurting someone mentally, physically, spiritually, you need to keep your business in your own house, because I'm pretty sure that your closet is full of skeletons that you don't want people to see. Stay out of people's business. You are only hurting others when they didn't ask you to touch nothing of theirs in the first place.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Dr. Tachi, before we move on?
I concur. Others, what LaLa said, when there is plenty of business of your own to mind. So I'm just tired of energy in the wrong place. That same energy could be used for good and doing things within your community. Can you imagine if all the hours they spent coming up with these nonsense rules and laws was put into something for good? We would have no problem. But again, that would have been too much money.
But who was the guy in Hamilton that was his nemesis that did, who actually thought of like all day long to make it hard for Alexander Hamilton? I mean, it seems like this is just who people are. And that's why I'm always saying that we have to fight as dirty as the founders did, because I don't think they fought diplomatically. I know they didn't. But our Congress people got to really get back to those days, which is why it worries me even about old Three Toes, that they'll do anything about it. Because in those days, I mean, you know, it's like they are a hair away from, you know, challenging Joe Biden to a duel, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
They are.
Okay. We will go.
Actually, somebody should just challenge Kevin McCarthy to one. See if he shows up.
All right, last conversation topic, and this will be good too, because Media Scope, Media Tech and Pop Culture on Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Instagram, and then on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, and other platforms at 6 p.m. Wednesday. This Barbie movie, oh my goodness. What do we got to say about this? I'm tired of hearing about this Barbie.
I'm tired of it. You want to know what the real root was of why the Republicans are pissed off about the Barbie movie? Because of some imaginary map that was put. So in the movie, there's a map where Barbie gets to come through to the real world. And they tied this into saying that it's Chinese propaganda. They're mad about nothing. They're mad about an imaginary map. What the is wrong with people? You don't have enough stuff that you got to worry about, that you're worried about some imaginary land. Now, Barbie has been through since she's been around, okay? Period. She done had her own problems. Leave her alone. The last thing she's trying to do is link up with China, I'm pretty sure.
I know.
Dr. Tachi, go ahead.
Well, you know, and I keep asking this of people, and probably it's actually about, but what the hell is the Barbie movie about? That's the fact that it is so big, and it is the movie of the summer. And I'm not saying anything against the writers, directors, actors in it. What I am saying is that it shows a media landscape that is so barren that Barbie is the biggest movie of the summer. Now, we always usually do have blockbuster hits of the summer, but remember, we're coming out of a period of a pandemic where nothing was really produced for a while because of that. And now we're into strikes where obviously that's not affecting anything that was shot, but will affect things for the future.
Yes, it will.
What really is there? You cannot point to a whole slew of movies like we had pre-pandemic in terms of that. So this is really indicative of, number one, the fact that the whole creation and exhibition industry has changed. Number two, that it's not going to go back to what it was. And we're all seeing this now. And number three, the fact that the landscape is barren. And if Barbie is the biggest movie of the summer, again, no shade or disrespect to people in it or who worked on it, if that's the biggest movie of the summer, that shows that there's really not a whole lot going on in Hollywood. And that's why indie is the wave of the future. Hint, hint.
Indie soup.
Please. I can only take Bollywood so far. It's too fantastical. You know, I mean, I like it up to a point, but you know, they work people to death and they don't pay proper wages. You know, no offense. I'm not going to support.
Well, and if you go see this Barbie,
is I think people are seeing Barbie differently. Barbie is an icon. We all grew up with Barbies. Last year they did a Laverne Cox Barbie, which was amazing. Okay, I think that Barbie has grown with our culture. I think there were tough times. Mattel has done some amazing stuff to usher in that. They never made her as trashy as those Bratz dolls, which made everybody that I know now, everybody looks like a Bratz doll at the moment. But I'm telling you, Barbie was an astronaut. Barbie was a teacher. Barbie was like the role model. She is this amazing thing. I think that it's important in the movie that they're trying to say that women can still do everything and women don't really need men. That's the point of this movie. And it's so key that it came out at this time because we have lost Roe v. Wade. We are losing court cases daily. We are losing women in childbirth, you know, because from sepsis, because these idiots are letting them die. We are losing babies. Our mortality, child mortality has gone up like double since the last time 3 years ago when all of this went into effect. We are being hunted. We are prey. So to see Barbie win and throw, you know, what's his face, Ken, like we don't need him, or his testosterone is low and little jokes like that. Give us a break. We need to laugh. Young women,
nobody knows how to laugh anymore. That's the problem.
It says a lot for young women and women and people after the pandemic. Sure, there's some numbnuts out there that won't understand it and take it too far, but those are like your Ted Cruz's, who's a hypocrite, who probably to Barbie for all the you know, because he certainly didn't care that Donald Trump said his wife looked like, you know, oinky oinky. So, you know, it's like, give me a break. These people don't matter. Marsha Blackburn and whatever, they don't matter. They don't matter. And we're making them matter. And that bugs me. So if Barbie can make it and they can, you know, do whatever, fine. I'm on board. It was a big deal for Mattel to give the go ahead on this, I believe.
No, absolutely. Again, it's like no shade or whatever to and I do get, because now, by the way, FYI, if you type in Barbie in Google, it turns pink and there are sparkles.
That's amazing. That's old school advertising doing what they do best. But it's between seeing Barbie, which is a joyous kind of like light movie, or going and seeing Oppenheimer about nuking. It's like choose your poison. I think I'm not going to go where there's going to be a bunch of boomers my age going. Are you freaking kidding me? I don't want to see a bunch of old folks up there stirring themselves. The internet has been ruined by my generation personally. Doomsdayers freaking out. All of a sudden, we're a little closer to dying, and we suddenly think we need to become religious. It's ridiculous. It's just unreal what's happened to all the people I once knew, the ones who showed up, and now look at them. So I like Barbie. I may not, I'm like, give everyone a minute. Because they're really pushing Oppenheimer, by the way.
Yes, they are
pushing it. There's so much money in that marketing budget. It's way more than Barbie's.
Yep, and even the actors got up and walked out during the screening.
Who?
The actors walked out during the screening.
They had to, right? The strike went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Tachi, go ahead.
Well, it shows again that there's not a whole lot going on. If those are your two children, obviously, big deal for Barbie, big deal for Oppenheimer. But what else have we really had this summer yet?
Nothing.
Nothing. So there isn't. So here's the thing. Is the excitement over these two films because they are that great? Or is it because there are no other choices?
But it was the same when Wakanda came out. The same thing. Black people didn't have any other choices but to support that. We only have one coming out at the same time. I'd like to see a few at the same time so I could say, that's bad, that's good. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Every year has its moment. And, with Marvel moving to England, a lot of the budgets are going to shift. And because people sit at home and stream, because we can't go and watch movies because there's mass shootings in America, what are we supposed to do?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I have no desire to go to a movie theater at all anymore, ever. I'm okay with that. I don't need to go.
I wait till it comes on. I'm really not that girl.
Okay. All right. So I think we're done, but just a few more comments here. Regina goes, Rotten Tomatoes, about 50% gave the movie 5 stars and 50% gave it 1 star. And then Orkra JP says, okay, who's giving the 1 star? Angry men?
Right. And wait, can I just ask a question? Do you guys still look at Yelp reviews and care? Any of these? I don't. Because I'm going to tell you something. People are they just and they do it. You can't please. And I am sitting there always going, I don't know who you are to be complaining about these people at this restaurant. I'll go for myself. It's like I do not listen to dumb reviews because people, if it's a product that, I don't know, it's really, I need to have my friends tell me. I really do. And if my friend sees me on a review and then they pile on or whatever, it's cool. But most people know. When they go 1, it's just too much. And then also it's like, you were so mad that you actually left and you stayed mad to type all this stuff out. Please, no time for that.
Okay.
It's not going to change anything.
Go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Some people are just miserable. It's the same thing with I don't know if you in Canada have Nextdoor, but there's an app Nextdoor, which is for like different neighborhoods. And so I had to, my neighborhood association was like, hey, we're on Nextdoor. I'm like, okay. I have not signed back in since because people love to complain. It shows behinds on there. I'm like, is this who lives in this neighborhood? So it's,
I'm on it, and you can imagine I've gotten into it.
Okay. All right. That's it for tonight's conversation. Look at this. Dr. Tachi's got a whole bunch of people coming in here. Okay, Saraka BB, good stuff. Randy _in_da808. Dr. Tachi. Wolf 7560 is me. I don't know what that means. Levok, good stuff. Whole pile of people came in here. I'm not going to go through it all. Like a digital stem cell. Hello, what's up? Oh my gosh, there's so many people. Well, all the people that came in on Instagram, I'm not going to save it because the language is a little bit racy, and I think that Instagram may ban me. The algorithm may take me off. So if you want to catch the full conversation on replay, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and also hit notification. Dr. Tachi, before we let you leave, what's up next for you, and what would you like to share before we let you go?
Oh, well, you've already done a wonderful job of sharing the conversation that I am going to be in, so thankfully, tomorrow on affirmative action in higher ed and colleges, or lack thereof now, in colleges and universities. And you already know Indie Soup is the name of the game.
Yes.
Right? So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, so...
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, just saying, and those who don't, well, you know, for those who are on here, whether it's on all the different platforms on right now, a little shorter background on what Indie Soup's all about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So Indie Soup Media is my new network, and we are the heart of the independent content creator. We are there to give creators shine because, as you can see from what's happening in Hollywood and in the media industries, it's all roads are pointing towards independent networks being the wave of the future. And we want to not just ride the wave, but lead that wave. And so if anybody has content, we've got like 30 creators right now, and it keeps growing every day. If you have amazing content that you're producing and you're interested in getting it on a platform that right now has a reach of 1 million, let me know.
There you go. Where can people best reach you?
On Instagram at Dr._Tachi.
Yes. And Levox says independent and AI free. There you go. Okay. Dr. Tachi, as always, thank you for sharing. And, you know, you always has a seat at the table, whether it's on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, and IG. Thank you for bringing some of your family over on the IG Live tonight. And again, family, I'm not going to save it because the language gets a little heated at times. So if you want to catch the full conversation, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, subscribe and notification. Always Dr. Tachi. Remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy.
Thank you. Bye, ladies.
Have a good night. All right. And everyone else on Instagram, thank you so much. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and you will catch the full conversation. Again, remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. All right. We are done. Whoa. Another great conversation, Dr. Tachi. Bringing the heat, bringing the fire. Ladies, thanks again for another quiet evening in the world. And Jill. Jill Jones. We love Jill
Tomorrow
Jones.
is my daughter's birthday, so happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to Zuzu.
And
Yes.
When I got from somebody for my birthday, my friend Jill gave this to me. Isn't this vase so cute?
Yeah,
that's adorable.
Yes, it's lovely. It's by this company called A Clean, or I'll have to get the name of it again. It's lovely. And I went to the farmer's market today and got this beautiful elderflower, so put that in there. So it's very cute.
All right. Well, we're going to close it up as always. You have the ladies share their contact information. So first up, we're going to go to, as the platform goes here, and we go here.
Everybody, it's Laura. You can find me at Realty Goddess, but call me LaLa because family does that.
There you go. Instagram, Twitter, and you see I added the other one.
Yes, you did. Yes,
Okay.
it's on there.
And also, LaLa is back on Instagram doing live conversations. So
yes,
please
I had a really
her.
good one tonight. So come and check it out. It's about weight loss and mental issues and abuse.
And can you share with our family, how much weight loss did you have?
130 pounds.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So follow LaLa. She is persistent and consistent, even more so on Instagram. So fantastic. And there she is, the one and only Jill Jones.
Well, okay. So Jill Jones Music, on Instagram and Threads. And then Twitter, Jill D. Jones. I mean, I have all these names. And on Blue Sky, if anybody's on Blue Sky, I'm Jill Jones. And I'm on that Silk, or what is the other one where it's sort of like Black Twitter?
No idea what you're talking about.
I'm on Spill too. So I'm
Spill.
all out. That's just,
How's the experience on Spill been?
Raunchy. It's cute. I like it. It's cute. I mean, it's totally
raunchy and cute.
Raunchy and cute.
Okay.
It's like Barbie. It's like when I just want a Barbie day. I'm like, I'm gonna go on Spill and see what's going on.
Okay.
It's kind of nice to have a lot of people. Like what I said to my husband, I said, do you want to go on Blue Sky, or are you going to be on this one? I'm on Tribal, all these ones. And he's like, I have enough. I don't need all of this. And I just kind of flip from one to the other. It's okay.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks again. All right. And to myself, if you want to get a hold of me, okay, hold on. There's some craziness going on here. All right. We got it there. And we're here. Wow. This platform is really funky tonight. What's going on here? Okay. Okay. Now we're back. Okay. So if you want to get in touch with me, there's website, VIBESHOW.com, email address, VIBESHOW.com, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Twitter @DRVIBESHOW, and then Instagram @TheDRVIBESHOW.com. I haven't added Threads yet because I'm still deciding if I'm going to go on Threads and what content I'm going to share on Threads, but we'll see. Let's get some more comments happening here. Okay, let me just get to lots of activity going on tonight. You can also watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website, TheDRVIBESHOW.com. Let's get some final comments. All right. Jen Meyer, great conversation. Dr. Tati says, @Wolf7650. Hey, Wolf says back. Wow. Oh, Wolf, congrats. LaLa says to that. And also, Black Beauty says, fabulous show. Dr. Tachi, such a great show. All of you made it a great show. All of you that were on Instagram, all of you were on the other platforms, you made it amazing. Another epic conversation. So let's do some final things before we jump off. For those who haven't done it yet, we'd love you to join the Discord group. What's our Discord group? This is where we have conversations in between shows. And hey, it's open forum with conversations, but it's respectful. So email me, dr.vibe @TheDRVIBESHOW.com. Everyone you heard live on tonight obviously is on it. Dr. Tachi's on it. So we'd love to get more people. So email me. We'd love you to join the conversation. It's a safe and brave space. Next up, like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, hit the notification button. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you want to advertise your business or service on the show, email me. And then close it out live tomorrow night, July 23rd, 9 p.m. Eastern. Dr. Aisha and Dr. Tashi, who you heard tonight, will be talking about the impact of the American Supreme Court ending affirmative action in American colleges and universities. Both ladies are educators, PhDs in colleges. So we're getting it right from the front line. All right? Right from the front line. So if you can catch it tomorrow night, we'd appreciate it big time. All right, let's close it out. As always, we say this: live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time. Manage your energy. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith and walk good.
Thank you.